conditions, routine PIREP, PIRNA, used to report routine weather observations, urgent PIREP, UUA, used to report significant weather phenomena or hazardous conditions encountered during flight, PHAC 1316. Alright, so what is wind shear? Wind shear is a change in wind speed or direction over a short distance. It can occur either horizontally or vertically. PHAC 1311. What are the two basic ways fog forms? The air is cooled to the dew point or moisture is added to the air. Both cause relative humidity to reach 100%. PHAC 1213. What cloud types would indicate convective turbulence? Towering cumulus or cumulonimbus? What is the definition of lapse rate? The lapse rate is the rate at which atmospheric temps decreases with an increase in altitude. The standard is 2 degrees Celsius per 1,000 feet, which can be used to determine what the temp should be at a given altitude. PHAC 11-2. What are the three main layers? What are the three main layers of the atmosphere? The troposphere, tropopause, stratosphere. What is the chord line of the wing? What is angle of attack? An invisible line running from the leading edge of to the trailing edge of the airfoil. And angle of attack is the angle between the chord line and of the wing and the relative wind. Define the following V speeds: VSO, VS1, VY, VX, VFE, VA, VNO, VNE. VSO, stall speed in the landing configuration. O out, flaps out. VS1, stall speed or minimum steady flight. Flaps in. Stall speed flaps in a specific configuration and flaps in. Or with certain amount of flaps. Minimum steady flight. VY, best rate of climb. VX, best angle of climb. VFE, maximum flaps extended speed. VA, maneuvering speed. VNO, structural cruising speed, normal operating speed, but normal maximal operating speed in the orange. VNE, the never exceed speed. Hey, how's it going, guys? What is maneuvering speed and how does it change with weights? The maximum speed at which full or abrupt control, full abrupt control deflection in one axis will not overstress the airframe. That is the maneuvering speed. At this speed, the wings will stall before being overstressed. When the load factor increases, maneuvering speed increases with gross weight and decreases as weight decreases. Airman's Flying Handbook 10-12. What causes an aircraft to spin? What is the recovery procedure? What causes the spin is the exceeding the critical angle of attack while subjected to a sufficient yaw rate, uncoordinated stall. Unless otherwise specified by POH, pair, powered idle, ailerons neutral, rudder opposite, put the yoke forward. Reduce the angle of attack. What causes adverse yaw? When turning a plane, the downward deflected aileron on the outside wing produces more lift, which also increases induced drag on that wing. This added drag causes the airplane to yaw toward the raised wing, opposing the direction of turn. PHAC 6-3. What is ground effect? A condition of improved performance that airplanes experience when it is operating near the ground. In ground effect, induced drag decreases when the aircraft is within one wingspan of the above surface. A wingspan above the surface. What major problems can be caused by ground effect? During takeoff, the aircraft may seem capable of taking off below rotation speed. During landing, excessive speed during the landing phase may result in significant float distance. PHAC 511. What are the four forces that act on an airplane? Lift, the force that opposes weight. Weight, the force of gravity. Thrust, the force that moves an aircraft through the air. Drag, the force that opposes an aircraft's motion through the air. What effect does a forward center of gravity have on an aircraft flight characteristics? Higher stall speed. Stalling angle of attack is reached at a higher speed due to increased wing loading. Slow cruising speed. Increased drag. A greater angle of attack is required to maintain altitude. More stable. Increases longitudinal stability. Takeoff. Greater back elevator pressure required. Longer roll. Landing. Higher approach speeds and potential problem with landing flare. What effect does a rearward center of gravity have on aircraft flight characteristics? A lower stall speed, less wing loading, higher cruise speed, reduced drag, smaller angle of attack is required to maintain altitude, less stable, stall and spin recovery more difficult. What are pressure and density altitude? Pressure altitude is the height above the standard datum plane. It is obtained by setting your altimeter to 29.92 in the Coleman's window and reading the indicated altitude. Density altitude is pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperatures. Typically, density altitude is the altitude that the airplane feels like it's flying at. What factors affect density altitude and how does density altitude affect aircraft performance? Density altitude is directly proportional to pressure altitude, temp, and humidity. i.e., as these factors increase, so does density altitude. As density altitude increases, aircraft performance decreases, so takeoff/landing distances increase, climb rate decreases, and true airspeed on the takeoff and landing increases. What are the 4 left turning tendencies? P factor, torque, spiraling slipstream, gyroscopic precession. What is P factor? The bite of the downward moving propeller is greater than the bite of the upward moving propeller. This moves the center of thrust to the right of the prop disc area, causing yawing moment toward the left. What is torque? Torque reaction involves Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The engine and propeller are revolving in one direction clockwise, so an equal and opposite force rolls the aircraft to the left. What is spiraling slipstream? The propeller rotation produces a backward flow of air which wraps around the fuselage and strikes the left side of the vertical tail. This yaws the nose to the left. What is gyroscopic precession? Gyroscopic precession occurs when the force is applied to spinning object and reaction is felt 90 degrees later in the direction of rotation. In a tricycle gear aircraft, when the nose lifts during takeoffs, the propeller disc tilts upward, creating a force as if someone is pushing on the bottom of the disc. This causes the reaction to occur 90 degrees ahead on the right side, pushing the nose slightly left. When are spins most likely to occur? Cross control turn from the base to final, skidding turn, engine failure after takeoff, and on approach to landing, go around with full nose up trim, and or a go around with improper flap retraction. Define the following 2 types of drag, induced and parasitic. Induced drag is the drag of an airfoil that arises from development of lift. Parasitic drag resulting from the shape of the airplane, the airflow around it, and any components on the airplane such as antennas. BHAC 5-6. What is the center of gravity? The center of gravity on an aircraft is the point where all of its mass is concentrated. If you could balance the aircraft on your finger, you would hold it at this point. Hey. No, I was doing note card videos. While you were doing that. You good? You done?
I don't know.
We playing zombies until we work out? Bye.